Hi everybody, this is Gijs again and I hope you are doing well. This time it is a expert advice how-to tutorial video, and this one is about how to pack a backpack, or better, how I pack my backpack. Enjoy this video! Welcome to the expert advice how-to tutorial on how I pack my backpack. And before I start cracking on about the backpacks itself, I would like to welcome those people who are following me already for some time. Welcome back to my channel. It's great to have you here again. And also many thanks for all your likes and all your comments. Now, for those of you who are new to my channel, you might not know that normally I am a 100% independent reviewer. Manufacturers are not paying me for my reviews, they're not paying me for my tutorial videos, so I am 100% independent. So if you like what I do at the end of this video, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel and don't forget to hit the alarm bell so you know when I uploaded a new video. And before I start with the tutorial itself, I would like to make one thing very clear, and that the way that how I do it, it's not the only way, because people have got their own systems, and what I am telling you is what I do with basically all my backpacks. And it doesn't matter if I take a day pack, a hut-to-hut backpack, or the bigger one that I use for longer trekkings basically. And this is the Osprey Atmos 50 EG. I did a review on this one as well, so if you want to see that, follow the link up here at the end of this video. And also in the description below, of course. I'm going to use this one because the bigger the backpack, the more sense my explanation basically makes. I've unpacked the Osprey, and this is what I normally bring on a trip in, let's say, autumn or very early spring, when the temperatures are still a little bit colder. And I will talk you through everything that is going into my backpack. But first, let me tell you a little bit on what a basic principle is on how to pack a backpack, because you should know that the weight of the backpack should not be in the bottom of the backpack itself. A lot of people, they just fill the backpack from up there and they go all the way, they push the weight all the way down. What is absolutely a top tip, that is, if you've got a sleeping bag, and this is a Rap Mythic 600. I tested this one as well on my YouTube channel, so if you're curious about this sleeping bag, watch that video later. Most backpacks, they've got this sleeping bag compartment. It's underneath here. There is sometimes a divider with a strap, or sometimes with a zipper. And if you don't have a separate compartment, then the sleeping bag is the thing that you should put really below into your backpack, because a sleeping bag, yes, it's got some weight, but it's mainly volume. And what happens now is that because you put the sleeping bag on the bottom of your backpack, basically everything you put on top on it is always higher. Now, what you put next to this, and just let me demonstrate this to you. Need to get some air out of it. Now, what you will also see is that I like to keep my sleeping bag in a waterproof bag. Rap does this one with the sleeping bag itself. And this is always a little bit of a fiddly process. But you know, if your sleeping bag gets wet during your hike, that's not a good idea. Now, what the Atmos does not have, but what is a good advice as well, if you bring a mattress like those thin foamy ones that you roll into one big roll, then always put them underneath here. Most backpacks, they've got these straps underneath the backpack, so they are basically for that purpose, because this is also a lightweight which fits really nice here. What you also can do, if you roll it really tightly, is just put it onto the side straps of the backpack. That's a good place as well. Now, let me continue with the rest. Now that the sleeping bag is in place, I've almost got this part loaded, which is basically onto the medium height of my back. Now, why is this a good thing? Because I don't want to have the weight onto the bottom in the lower part of the backpack, because this only makes a backpack very heavy. Now, what is next? It is the bladder, and I didn't take this one out because getting it in is quite a fiddly process. This one, it's a 2-liter bladder, and I fill it most of the time to about 1.5 liters, so that there is still some space for the water to go when it's being compressed, when I put more stuff into my backpack. It's connected, of course, to a little loop here with a clip, and it's got a separate pouch into the backpack itself. And this one, it's really close to the back. It's here. This is 1.5 liters of water, which means it's 1.5 kilo. And because it is so very close to my back, that means that the balance of the whole backpack is going to be very, very comfortable for me. Because when I move around, I don't want to have this weight at the back end of the backpack, because this will only pull me backwards. And when I move around, for example on a ridge, this moving around is, well, it can be quite dangerous because you can't maintain your balance very easily. Does that make sense? I do think so. Now, the bladder, of course, it's got a hose. You hear the birds in the water? There's a lake over there. It goes through a little hole and then it goes to the other side, of course. On the outside, that's where the hose goes, and it goes over my right shoulder in this case, because I like it to use it on the right shoulder. Different backpacks have got different methods. Sometimes the opening is on the left, sometimes it's on the right, sometimes it's in the middle. Now, what I do next, because I still have some space underneath here, what I do next is I take my bag of clothing, basically. This is the clothing that I bring. There's some thermal clothing in there from merino wool, some extra socks, an undie, underwear that I can use also for if I want to go for a swim in the lake. And not pretty much, there's not much else in there, because I normally don't bring too much of clothing because I don't need it. If you go on a hut-to-hut hike, of course, there's where you keep your clean set for if you go in the hut to have dinner, because nobody likes smelly people. And again, this one is also in a waterproof bag. I like the ones from Osprey and the ones from Sea to Summit. They are pretty lightweight and they do a perfect job. So this one goes in there as well as a nice little flat package. I don't mind about wrinkles in my clothing. Now, what I put on top of this next is my jet boil, or in any cooking system, or if you have a gas canister with just a small burner on top. This is where it goes. It goes again close to my back. Why do I put it in the center of the backpack? Well, because what I can do now is I can take my MSR tent, and I took all the parts apart. This is only the fly and the inner tent. I can put this nice around my cooking set, and that means that even if I'm into the mountains in a rocky area, I bump into rocks, my cook set is going to be protected. And this is important because, well, something warm at the end of a long day is really key. Now, then I've got the poles. Poles, you can stick them on two places. Basically on the outside, left or right, doesn't matter, that's a good place. But never or ever, never forget to tie this one to one of the straps with a carabiner, because I lost my poles once because of it. And since I lost them, I basically always put them inside my backpack. And I have them always on the same side. They go all the way down. They go next to almost the sleeping bag. So that's where they are. This also provides the backpack a little bit more rigidity on this point. Now, since I'm working with the tent at the moment, I'll show you that I'll leave the pegs. And you know, these MSR pegs, they are really tiny ones. The pegs, well, they are really pointy, so you don't want to have this in your backpack, because when you put stuff in your backpack and you compress it, you don't know where it's going to go. So what I do, I take these and I always put them onto the top lid, and then in the top compartment of the Osprey in this case. There's also where the rain cover of the backpack is. Because if I put them up here, it's going to do no harm to my gear. It's not going to do any harm to me when I stumble on a rock or a tree root. It's safe in there. Now let me turn it back again and continue with packing the backpack. Then what is next? I've got the tent around the stove. The other thing is then, because the poles are on this point, I like to keep my mattress on this side, because it's like the same sort of tubular size. Next to the mattress I put my toilet bag, and there's just a toothbrush, some toothpaste, a little bit of sun cream in there, and of course if I need them some medicine. I've got asthma, so maybe most of the time it's in there. I really like these night eyes bags because you can see through them, which is pretty good when you're going through customs at an airport, which doesn't happen anymore at the moment because this is also a Corona video. But you know, if you want to get something out of it, it's really convenient. It's got a waterproof zipper, and if you close it totally, it is really a bomb-proof shelter for everything you put in it. I never close it because when I want to put it into my backpack, I want to wrap it, get the air out, and I'll put it next to the mattress on the side. Because if you have a system and you pack your backpack, if it's a small one or a big one, if you do this, mainly the things that you use in the same way, you will always find it. And finding stuff fast is most of the time very convenient. The next thing that I have, and I'll show you this. I've got 2 extra waterproof bags. One bigger one for just in case if something else goes totally wrong with maybe the cover of my backpack itself or with the cover of my sleeping bag, and a smaller one that I mostly use as a waste bag. Don't leave anything out there. Bring everything home. Leave no trace. I like the principle. So this one goes in here next to the bladder so that I know where to find it. I'll leave this one to put in the top compartment. Now the next thing that I put in is my coffee. That goes in top of here. It's coffee granulate. I take it on the go all the time. And my Kupilka mug, because I've lost the connection with the carabiner, so this one needs to go into my backpack now, which is a little bit of a pity. Put it in the top there, and then I've got my food bag. Also again a night eyes see-through thingy with the zipper almost totally closed, so I can still push the air out. There's some nice goodies in there, so this is what I need on the go, and I put this on top of the backpack. The last thing that goes in there is basically my down jacket. I most of the time bring a down jacket in the colder periods of the year, because whenever you stop, you go for a lunch or just have a small coffee, I take my down jacket and put it on. And to be totally honest, I wish I had it on right now, because it is getting quite chilly. Normally, and I didn't do it this time, this is a mistake I made, I didn't put it yet into a waterproof pouch, so maybe I should do this right now. Because if your down jacket gets wet, no isolation whatsoever, almost. And that one goes on top of there. Now this is mainly how I pack the main compartment of my backpack. Now let's tie the straps down. Little strap. If you've got a tent that is in one package, you can always put it on top, of course, underneath the toplid and on top of the main compartment underneath this strap. Same for bigger mattresses, they will fit there as well, or if you like it, you put your rain jacket over there. Now let me close the... This backpack doesn't have a pocket on the top lid on the inside. Now let me close it like this as well. Now then I've got my rain jacket, my hard shell, and I always got this one on the outside, because like now when it starts to rain a little bit, I want to get access to my jacket pretty quick. So that's why it's there. Also, when you've got wet stuff, this mesh, it's a really nice place, because the water can still drip out if it needs to, or it can ventilate, so that's always better. When you put some wet stuff in here and you have a nice day, then it will dry in the mesh compartment as well. Now, put this one, secure it also with the strap. Always secure stuff, it's very, very important. Now on the left and the right side of the Osprey, I have got a place where I can put a water bottle. And I always bring a thermos. When you leave the hut in a hut-to-hut hike, always bring a warm bottle of water with you. I can place it on top like this, or I can do it like this. This is more like a pistol grip thing, so you can get access to it quite easily when you're hiking with the backpack on your back. This thermos is simply too big for the other position, so I put it in this here like this. Sometimes it's a good idea to put a loop on here as well, and a carabiner, so you can secure the thermos to one of the straps. On the other side, I always carry a knife, a rather big one. I don't put it onto the belt of my trousers because the belt and the knife, they're most of the time interfering with the hip belt of the backpack itself. So the knife, I always put it on the side in the other pocket together sometimes with some other stuff. And I'll put the carabiner around the strap so I don't lose my knife on the go. Then the top lid. The main compartment, when in winter time, of course, that's where my winter gloves go, because you need easy access to it. It's also where my head goes, my beanie. I always carry a woolen beanie with me because when the weather gets a little bit nasty or colder, I like to have a beanie even underneath my hard shell because it gives a lot of isolation value. You know, you lose most of the warmth through your head basically. So always bring a hat. Quick to reach. It's also the place where I put my headlamp because it's always there where you need it. This one is the Petzl Eco Core. I reviewed that one a couple of weeks ago. No, last week I think. So check that one as well. And then I've got my wallet. I put the map in there if I'm not carrying it, because most of the time I have the map or in a big pocket on my jacket or just between the shoulder strap and the jacket. And I have the emergency first aid kit, and I hardly ever need to use them. Most of the time I use them because there is a pack of Compete blister things in there. That's the most used thing in my first aid kit. Nothing really goes wrong. And then of course, you know, whatever I do with my knife, I always wear my gloves. Or if you're going through woods and you try to get branches to make a campfire, use the gloves. These are the Hesta Ergo Grip gloves that I reviewed as well. And I'll put the link below again. I did so many reviews by now. I really like it. Now, this is how I pack my backpack. One thing, if you have the tendency to use trekking poles, of course you need them in your hands when you're hiking with a backpack. But as most backpacks, they've got a storage system on this one as well. It's a very simple system. It goes over here and tie it down, and one on the other side. Now, this is how I pack my backpack, and in this way, with the basically the stove in the middle, the bladder against my back, I have a very nice, well-balanced backpack that I can, well, use for everything that I want to do, and it will give me a lot of comfort because of this way of packing. And remember again, pack your backpacks always in the same way so that you, when you need something from your backpack, it's always there, where it's always on the place where you expect it to be. It's very important, and especially in an emergency situation. Emergency, I've got an emergency blanket, of course, in the first aid kit. That was one that I didn't mention yet. This is what I wanted to share with you on how I pack my backpack. And if you like this video, then please give it a like and leave a comment below. And I know this is not the only way how to pack a backpack. So if you think differently or have got some nice suggestions, please use the comment section below. And also, if you've got any questions on maybe special gear that needs packing in a backpack and you want my advice, also use the comment section and I'm more than happy to answer everything that you can throw at me. Now, if this is the first time that you watched one of my videos and you liked it, then subscribe to my channel and don't forget to hit the alarm bell so you know when I uploaded a new video, because with more subscribers I can make more videos. If you're not totally convinced, then please continue watching, and I'll put a playlist up there of my favorite videos. I'll put some links below in the description on the gear that I reviewed in the past. And what is also important, if you've seen this tutorial, then also watch the tutorial that I did together with my wife on how to fit a backpack and how to adjust the backpack so that it sits comfortably on your back. That's really a good video to watch if you want to know more about backpacks in general. Now, if you continue watching, enjoy my videos, and if you're done for today, then enjoy the outdoors and stay safe. Ciao, ciao! Bam! Now, it's still not really raining, so I still got some really great time to be outdoors. How do you like my backdrop, by the way? I'm curious. Please leave me a comment on this, because this is something that's on the ground that I've got permission on to shoot my videos nowadays. It's a private property and I really love it here. Guys, many thanks.